Before we jump into today's show, I've got a really exciting announcement to make. The autumn cohorts for Start Your Podcast group program are now open. There are 5 dates between September and October, and it's a 6-week program that will get you launched before Christmas. So if podcasting was on your to-do list this year, if you really want to get your podcast up and done by the end of 2023, then come and join me for one of those cohorts and let's make it happen. I have a free masterclass available for you called Understanding the Power of Podcasting. You can go over to donnaeade.com/masterclass, watch the masterclass and get access to that enrollment. I hope to see you in one of the autumn cohorts very soon. That's donnaeade.com/masterclass. Let's get back to the show. You're listening to the Wedding Procast UK, the place to be if you are a UK wedding professional looking to grow and streamline your business. I'm your host, Donna Eade, 10-year wedding photography veteran and CEO at the Society of Professional Wedding Vendors. If you want to grow and streamline your business, this is the podcast for you. Make sure you hit subscribe where you listen or join our email list at www.spwv.co.uk. You'll find the sign up form at the bottom of every episode, and by doing so, you won't miss a thing. So let's jump into today's show. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. A little bit different today. In today's episode, I'm going to be a little bit self-indulgent. Well, that's how I think of it anyway. It occurred to me that it's a new year. I know, hard to miss that one, right? And we have many new listeners to the show. So if you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is absolutely lovely to have you here. And it'd be lovely to know the faces behind those listeners. So if you are not yet part of our Facebook group, please do come over and join us. I will link it in the show notes and the description. But if you want to go there, it is facebook.com/groups/WPC UK. And come and say hi. It'd be lovely to meet you officially. So today I thought, because we've got new listeners and because it's a new year, I would tell you a little bit about me, about the show, and get into all the things. So let's do it. So we are actually quickly approaching the second birthday here on the Wedding Procast UK, which is really exciting to me. It is the 90th episode today. I'm wondering if we get to the 100th, does the Queen send me a card? Probably not, right? So I'm getting really excited. And to celebrate the second anniversary of the Wedding Procast UK, I am going to be doing a giveaway. So if you have not yet subscribed to the podcast, then hit that notification bell, hit that subscription button, whatever it is on the platform you listen to us on, hit that bell so that you get notified each time a episode releases, so that you don't miss the episode where I announce the giveaway and what needs to happen for you to be in with a chance to win. I started the podcast to work alongside the Society of Professional Wedding Vendors. Now, if you've been here a while, you know what that is. If you are new, the Society of Professional Wedding Vendors is a wedding association that I started in April 2020. Now, the idea wasn't born in 2020. It's actually been something I've been thinking about for about 5 years previous to that, but the launch was April 2020. And as you know, that probably couldn't have been a worse time to launch a wedding association, because the wedding industry ground to a halt and nobody was working, and therefore nobody really needed support in their business or support in gaining more clients, because people just weren't booking at that time. But I started it anyway, and I thought, what can I do to help people whilst we're in this, limbo in effect? And that's when I decided to start the podcast as well. So the Society is an organisation that helps you to increase your credibility through a code of conduct. So the Society provides you with a code of conduct, which you agree to. You fill in an application form as well to prove that you're a legitimate business. And then we support you and promote you for being a credible business. We also help members to streamline their business processes through a series of masterclasses, live Q&As, and expert tutors come in. We promote our members through our various social medias, but I wanted to make sure that I could reach the industry with lots of useful, helpful tips through the COVID pandemic, through that time where we were really all just struggling to get by day to day. And that is where the podcast came in. So I have been producing content now for 90 weeks. Well, it's actually been a bit longer because if you've been around for any length of time, even if it's just been 4 weeks, you will know I take a couple of weeks off over the Christmas period to spend with my family. And I also encourage you guys to take that time as well. Now, if you've been a long time listener, you know that I bang on about weekly content and having something to keep your website up to date, whether it be a YouTube channel, a podcast, or a blog post. My choice was a podcast because I love to talk. There's a surprise. And it comes naturally to me, more naturally than writing, although I love to write as well. I feel like I can talk quicker than I can coherently write, especially when it's typing. I don't know about you or whether this is just a weird thing with me, but I swear I have keyboard dyslexia. Like I will write words, best wishes. Every time I write wishes, I get the H and the E the wrong way round. Every single time I always have to go back and correct it. So if you get one with me with it the wrong way round, I just missed it. So I decided to do podcasting, and I did it because, I thought, well, I can do that better than YouTube, right? Because I can do it in my pajamas with no makeup on. Yeah. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'll get to that in a minute. So the Wedding Procast UK is my weekly content. I put it out each week to teach, share, and bring experts to your ears. I thoroughly enjoy doing the podcast, and I get great feedback from listeners. So I love that. So it's great for me. It is great. If you could rate and review on Apple Podcasts, if you haven't already, I would be absolutely honored if you would do that. I also read them out in the show if I see new ones on there, so I can give you a shout out. The show is here to inspire, encourage, and offer different points of view that can help you grow your business to where you want to be. So feel free to send me questions, episode ideas, or let me know who you think I should have on the show, and I will try and make that happen. I love doing the show, but it is here for you. So I want to make sure that the things that I bring out are relevant for you. So who am I? I am the voice behind the show. I am Donna. And I've been involved with the wedding industry for well over a decade now. I spent 10 years as a wedding photographer in my mid-20s to 30s. I spent a year as a wedding coordinator for a hotel. And after spending 5 years working for the British Healthcare Trade Association, I thought the wedding industry needs something like this. An organisation that can signpost couples to suppliers who haven't just paid to get their details on a website, but have completed an application form, shown that they're trustworthy, and are running their businesses with integrity. So we have a code of conduct, as I mentioned earlier, an application process that will just ask you for details about your business, how long you've been running, ask you for evidence of weddings completed and customers' reviews and things like that. So for more information on that, you can head to the link in the description, and you can find out all about the membership. I am a huge romantic, like huge. I believe in the fairy tale. Not that I want a man to come and rescue me, but just that being swept off my feet kind of experience. I believe in it. And I'm not sure where it came from, because my parents were not a romantic couple by any stretch of the imagination. They broke up for good when I was about 12 years old. And it wasn't really around me in my real world, but I was a TV addict. completely. Hands up, confession. I used to watch so much TV, in fact, that periodically my mum would actually give me the TV magazine, remember those, and a pen, and I would have to circle just 3 hours of TV a night and circle what I wanted to watch. And I am not joking. This happened very often. But if I wasn't in a timeout phase of my TV, then I would literally watch CITV, followed, and as soon as CBBC came on, I would switch over and watch CBBC. So we would go through Simon and the Witch. Does anybody remember Simon and the Witch? And then we would have News Round, followed by Blue Peter, followed by Neighbours, followed by Home and Away. Hollyoaks wasn't a thing at the time, so we had half-hour break, and then at 7:00 it was Emmerdale Farm, not Emmerdale Farm, and then we had either Coronation Street or EastEnders, because back in the day, young ones, it wasn't on every night. So literally, I remember it because it's ingrained, because I watched it so much, and I watched it all. I don't even watch soaps these days. It's crazy. However, the point is, I watched a lot of TV, which included a lot of films. So I watched things like The Slipper and the Rose. And if you haven't seen that film, it's such an old film, but it is so beautiful, a beautiful take on Cinderella. Disney movies, not the cartoons, but the movies like Summer Magic starring Hayley Mills. I loved that one. Anne of Green Gables, which is just a really romantic storyline when you look at it, and the way it's portrayed. I watched TV adaptation. I have read the books as well, but I watched the TV adaptation, and it was just, the music was so romantic. Oh, it was just so lovely. And then through to things like Dirty Dancing and Pretty Woman, which, you know, just fed into this for me. So as you can tell, I am a hopeless romantic. As such, I've always loved weddings. And when I realized that I also enjoyed photography, the rest was history. I wanted couples to have images that they could treasure for years to come. And following many seasons in the industry, I realized that, well, I was also wanting couples to have a day that they could remember for the right reasons. So I saw DJs who didn't turn up, cakes that were not rodded properly, so they were falling and crumbling before they arrived. I saw videographers who drank, smoked, and provided a less than appealing video of the day. I didn't want this for couples. So I wanted to help prevent that as much as possible, because a wedding day is important. It's not just a paycheck. It starts as a family's history. You know, it's that beginning point of a family's history. Now, they might have history before that, but it grows from there. They get married, they're having children, they're having grandchildren, they're looking back at these photos. It is a pivotal point in the history of a couple and that starting point of a family. And I know that people have children before they get married these days, but I just think it solidifies you as a family to have that wedding. And it's not for everybody. I get that. There are a lot of people out there that are quite happily unmarried and still have the family, but I'm just talking from my point of view for what I see personally, what I want. This is how I'm seeing it. So this is what indicates or affects how I hold myself accountable when I was shooting weddings. So that's who I am. That's why I'm here. And I hope that that's why you listen, because you feel the same way about being part of a wedding as I do. So now, before I sign off, I did say I would tell you all about how YouTube became part of the weekly content. Well, a friend of mine who you have seen on the show, Vivian Joy, asked me why my podcast wasn't on YouTube, given that it's the second biggest search engine owned by the biggest search engine. And I said, because it's a podcast. However, I do know other people who put their podcasts on YouTube, and I knew that it wasn't really an excuse. So up it went. I don't edit much of it at all for YouTube unless I make a terrible mistake. But you know, it's not perfect. I don't put makeup on for it. What you see is what you get, and I give my guests the option. So if they don't want to be on camera, then I will do an audio only version. So if you want to find out more about the SPWV, do head over to the link in the description and find out more. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button where you listen so you don't miss a thing. Join us over in the Facebook group. I would love to see your faces, and please share this with people that you know in the industry so that I can reach more like-minded professionals like you. Have a fab weekend until next week. Bye for now. Don't forget to hit those stars and leave a review of the podcast where you listen if you found value in what you heard today. It's a free way you can help the podcast reach more people just like you.